And we are live. So Alexander Betancourt is gracious enough to do a workshop today on Minecraft modding, and you have got an hour. I will turn it over to you, and you got till 5. Take it away.
Okay, so today we're going over Minecraft modding, which some of you may be familiar with, and some of you have a modding project to do in IS50. As for me, my name is Alexander Betancourt. I work for the Math Center in Reedley. I tutor CSI 40 and 41 at Reedley, and I really want to share some of my knowledge on Minecraft modding, so some of you people in IS50B, IS50A, get some mod work done for your project. It could be a little bit daunting for beginners, and I kind of want to give a kind of a starting path for some of you into modding Minecraft, so you won't be as lost as I was when I was starting it. So, are any of you guys familiar with Minecraft? Just putting that out there, throw in the workshop area. Yep, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are familiar with Minecraft. Most of us grew up with that game. Yeah. So, to understand Minecraft versions, you have to understand which versions are out there on PC. So, for this tutorial, we're going to use Java Edition. We're not using Bedrock, because if we're using Bedrock, it runs in C++, and it's much more closed source than Java Edition, and is generally the inferior version. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just bad for modding, because most people on Bedrock, they use behavior packs and stuff like that, and it's much more streamlined towards making workshop content, and that's for paid mods and stuff like that. So if we're going to go into that, but for this tutorial we're using Java Edition, and it's just much more moddable than Bedrock Edition, since it's mostly on console, mobile stuff like that. Plus you have cross-play and cross-save, so it's a lot more variables to worry about when you're modding. And you have Java Edition, which everyone's familiar with. Everyone grew up with that version, probably. It's the first version of Minecraft. It's the one Notch worked on directly, and it's probably one of the better versions of Minecraft out there. It's still getting supported even to this day, and getting most latest patches as well. And plus, it's just better overall for modding. But first, if any of you don't have a Java Edition account, you're going to need it to mod the game, because you need to have the latest version Minecraft's jar somewhere on your computer. Because what basically we're doing is decompiling the jar and looking through Minecraft's code. That's something we're also doing if you want to program something that Minecraft also does. So that's the introduction to Minecraft. Let's go on the next slide. Fabric. So for this tutorial, we're using the Fabric API. It's a really lightweight API for modding, even though Forge is the more popular option, and I recommend, if you're going to go really intense into modding, I recommend you go into Forge as well. Forge is an excellent API, and it's used for most mods with Minecraft. Generally, if you think of Minecraft modding, you think of Forge. But Fabric overall is less intensive on your hardware. It runs faster, and it updates faster. So, in fact, Fabric usually updates the newest snapshot version of Minecraft when it releases. That's how fast the development team is with Fabric, and how close it is to the source code of the game. Even though Forge is more popular, Fabric makes up for it in how fast it is. And also, generally speaking, Fabric is much more beginner friendly. Here's a little meme, another Chad versus Virgin meme. These are some accurate facts here. Like, if you ever use Forge, it takes up a lot of memory to load. And it takes months usually to update the latest version of Minecraft. Kind of similar to how Optifine takes like at least a week and a half to update the latest Minecraft version. And it's mostly the nostalgia that make people go to Forge, because it's been, the main modding API for a very long time. And, got Fabric. Loads less than 1 nanosecond. It updates the latest version as Mojang releases it, Yeah, it has a sweatshop modders. I think that's true. Oh, you didn't miss much. But you can watch the recording. So, Another thing you're going to need is Java 16. You're going to have to make a Oracle account to get a Java development kit. Do Java 16. Java 16 is because it's the latest version of Java that Minecraft currently supports. This is required for Minecraft 1.17 and beyond. If you're modding below 1.17, you can get away with using Java 11. But for this, we're using Java 16. I recommend learning a little bit of Java, just a little bit, not that much, just enough to do if statements and no function chaining. Just a little bit. I will go into coding in the demo coming up soon, but I recommend at least knowing a little bit before going into it. And plus, I left a link in the slides, so after this whole thing's over, I'm gonna drop the slides in the workshop so you guys can get the links you need. Now we're going over GitHub. So if you've been living over a rock, you got to get GitHub for this. The reason why I'm introducing all these components to modding is because when you're modding this game, it's gonna be a certain workflow that you're gonna have to go under. Like if you're like me and you don't use GitHub in the beginning and you want to back up your mod somewhere, you're gonna have to start with GitHub because GitHub configures the mod so it won't be as intensive on someone else's computer. Not saying that it's less storage on your computer. And you can also back it up on GitHub as well. That's the reason why I recommend GitHub, because you can just work on it on your computer, and when you're at work, you can just pull it out, work on your laptop, and you have downtime, you just work on it, and then just commit it back to the main branch. And plus, most mods are open source, so you can see the source code for some mods directly on GitHub. So that's another thing I'm going to go over later on when we're doing the demo. Is that if you're stuck on something, I would say look at someone else's source code and try to get some of the pieces out of it. Because Fabric is so well documented that there's things that aren't documented as well. It's well documented for beginners, but once you get into the higher echelons, like I want to add a music disc or something like that, you have to look for a mod that does it and kind of figure out how they do it using the API. And plus, we're using a template for this to make this a lot easier, so we don't have to create a bunch of folders in the beginning. We can just use the template and then change the names to our Maven Group and all that stuff. I'll go over that in the demo. So make sure you guys get a GitHub, because it's kind of important for comp sci even without modding. Visual Studio Code is the IDE we're using. You can't use Vim. I'm sorry, Hazelton. I don't know how we can get Vim to work on Minecraft modding. But the reason why I'm saying use Visual Studio Code, because you don't have to mess around with JSON files and all this other stuff we're going to get into. And this is a certain type of workflow we're going to have to go through. So if you guys got any questions before we get into the demo, I would say to ask them now, because I think the next slide's a demo. So, I don't know why you guys aren't typing, but just going over some stuff. It's just basic stuff you have to go over. So, a sprite editor of some sort. I recommend using Spixel. It's free, it's online. You can just whip out a sprite real quickly for your mod. Real quick, just whip out a sprite. And if you want to go a little more fancy with your sprites, I would recommend a sprite. I'm using that right now because I make a lot of pixel art. So I paid the $20 to get in. It's probably one of the best sprite editors on the market right now that I'm aware of. You can use Photoshop if you have that, but really Photoshop, just don't get into that. It's just way too expensive to be worth it. Yeah, I was talking about how Hazelton would be pissed off that we can't use Vim for this. So we're gonna start the live demo. Let's go. So for this, I'm gonna go into my VS Code and quickly run my code real quickly. Let me just get rid of this project and go to Clovis folder. Folder, we're going to go to here, GitHub, we're going to change tweaks, select the folder. So I already have it cloned on GitHub and most of the workflow set up for this. But if you're going to start from fresh, completely fresh, we're going to have to go directly to our fabric example mod. So if I go here, I can go here. You could just use the template, and you can create a new respiratory. Name it like, I don't know, example mod, or something like that. Say, I don't know, my hash table, something like that. And you can make it private or public, but for this tutorial, I'm just going to make it public. And we're just going to clone a respiratory. It's going to take a few seconds. I'm going to go pull the respiratory to my GitHub desktop, or download directly, but I'm using GitHub desktop. So I can get started on that mod as well. This is the one I'm working on. This is what I like to call Jsons tweaks, because it adds a lot of items into Minecraft. It uses a certain registry system I made up. I can just register items right away. Because when you make items in Minecraft, we're gonna have to use a registry. I know Kearney went over this with Quake and how you have to register things into a registry. This is very similar to that, where you have to register like items into like a Minecraft registry. And most games use public static functions because they don't want to deal with the fact that a variable can change. So you're gonna be using public static final, declaring what type of thing is it. Is it an item, or is it like a block, and so forth. Just me going over the code very fast right here. Well, I'm only 12 minutes in, so we're gonna go more into the demo and make our own little mod just for the showcase. Plus you have to make separate files if you want to use food components, like doing a class right here for this food component. Where we're saying calling it diamond glowberries. We're creating a new food component. We're using this .builder function, and we have to add all these functions to it. So yeah, a lot of it is just function chaining. So for example, like let me just copy and paste this piece of code and directly in chat. You're gonna see how long this line is. Literally, that is actually one line of code. That's a lot of chaining, mostly, because like if you actually examine the piece of code, it's just setting the hunger points you get by, eating the item, the saturation modifier, which is a float, which I set to 2, so it can be a high saturation, so it can heal fast. You got status effects. So for example, you want to add a new status effect, you have to do new status effect instance, and then you do status effects glowing, and you have the time in ticks. And there's a certain conversion you have to do for ticks to seconds. Like I'm pretty sure both of those are 30 seconds and one's 45 seconds. And right there where it says 1, it's going to be something like the first stack. Like how many stacks of that a status effect you have. So for example, if I had health boost, I put 3 stacks of health boost. Because this is a very expensive item. Like try to have some balance in your mod as well. So for example, if you want like a really powerful item, try to make it balanced out by making it have a really expensive crafting formula, recipe. But you always end one of these functions with build. This is basically telling the game, make the item. That's basically what it's telling it. So make the item that has this hunger, this saturation, this status effect. It's always edible. And the same thing with the amethyst potato. I have it at 5 hunger, so it's going to do 2.5 hunger points, 2.5 hunger shanks, whatever they're called. It has a certain saturation modifier of 1.1. Like if you look in the Minecraft wiki, certain things have different saturation levels. These 2 food items have really high saturation because they're very expensive to make. And you have to declare this in a separate file, because you're basically making a new class just for your mod to have these food components. So if you go back to our main file right here, we're going to diamond glowberries. When we declare it, we have to give it the food component diamond glowberries. So when it's eaten, when you're eating it, it's gonna go give you those effects. Same thing with Amethyst Potato. We're giving it a certain food component, setting it to a certain item group, and setting the settings to a certain thing, certain settings. As well as blocks, we're going to do something similar where we do materials, sound groups. So if I really wanted to expand out the code, it would probably look like something like this. Let's see. But it's supposed to be one line. It's a lot of function chaining, so we're just chaining functions constantly. And of course, this is really well documented, so if you want to make something like, I don't know, like a firefly that you can eat or something like that, there's probably a mod that has a similar mob in it. You can go look at that documentation, and you can probably figure out how they made it, and you can kind of port it into your own mod. But for this tutorial, we're not going to go over mobs, because mobs are a whole different, it's like, I tried adding a mob, but most of the time you have to model it out in a thing called Blockbench, which is like how Minecraft models their mobs. It's using a certain 3D modeler. It's not really worth your time, unless you want, because you ever think about it, if you ever look at a Minecraft update, they have 50 new blocks and 2 new mobs, because mobs are just generally overall hard to program. And going back to it, it's a lot of function chaining, stuff like that, so. Same thing, this is every time you want to declare an item, you have to declare it in this little area on top of the class. And you have to register it later on. For example, I made these 2 functions to register an item, so I won't have to, type that much. It just registers based on the string name and the item declaration. I gave it a new identifier and everything like that. I even made one for blocks as well. So I can just say register item, pure sulfur, register item sulfur, and I can just do that on initialize. Because what we're going to do is just basically register the item and say, yeah, this item exists, you gotta go find it. I'm sure I keep repeating myself for that. So we're going to have to go into Jsons as well, which if you have a block, you have to give it a block state. And these basically say, oh, this is how it's going to look in the game, because you're only going to give it one side of the texture. So I go down to my raw software block. This is the texture. It's a 32 by 32 texture. Same with my ore block. It's just a texture on one side. Of course, there's ways to get it to work on 4 sides where you have a new texture on one side, the other texture on the other side. That's a different thing entirely, and that's on the documentation. But for these are just simple blocks that have the thing wrapped around the block. It would just be a simple block state thing like this, where you say the variance, leave an empty cell there, and say the model is this, fused up, fused to block, software raw block. You go here, block, software raw block. It's going to say, oh, instead of saying it's a cube, it's going to say all sides are the sulfur block texture. And the same thing with most of these models. It's just going to say, oh, this is the parent, these are the textures, and so forth. Let's go back down to the items. Items are easy. You just say, oh, parent texture layer. Because you can have multiple layers on an item. The same thing with, glow berries, where it's just one item. Same thing with, because every block you have to declare an item type too. So when you hold it in your hand, it won't look like a missing texture from Counter-Strike Source. So every time you declare an item, you have to declare, this JSON file. As well, as wall software blocks, I have to do the same thing where I say, oh, this is the raw software block, here's the textures on each side. Yeah. Of course, I have some extra textures in here, like for example, I have a deep slate sulfur, which is for when I implement ore generation. And keep in mind, there's plenty of good tutorials on ore generation. I think that's one of the most documented parts of Fabric is ore generation, because everyone, as their first mod, decides to do an ore, which is kind of funny. That's why I got my mod idea, saying I want to add sulfur into Minecraft because gunpowder is way too expensive. It's not worth killing 50 creepers for 1 firework. So that's how I came up with my idea for my mod. And of course, you have to make textures for this in the Sprite Editor. So usually 32 by 32. You can't do like 31. It has to be a multiple of 8. It's just a general rule in video game design. I don't know why. It's always a multiple of 8. So for example, if your texture is 4 by 4, and it goes, 4 by 4, 8 by 8, 16 by 16, 32 by 32. Minecraft uses 32 by 32. Let's go down to loot tables next. So basically, if you want your item to return something when it's broken, you're gonna have to make a loot table for it. It's kind of weird because even though it would make sense that it would just, like, when you punch block, it would return item, Minecraft doesn't do it like that. For example, if you break glass with your hand, the glass isn't going to return back to you. And this is what they use. They use loot tables and saying, oh, when it's breaking by someone punching it with their hand, it won't return a block back. What this is basically doing is saying, oh, this is the type block rules. This is our rules 1 entries, and just basically it's like throwing a dice and putting all the blocks, all the possibilities on each side of the dice. So basically, what a loot table is, just keep rolling the dice and saying, oh, if I break this, what's the chance of it coming back? It's a guaranteed chance. There's only one roll and one entry, so it's gonna happen. Plus, there's conditions as well. If you, for example, if it survives the explosion, it'll give you back the item. And then for recipes, it's very similar. Most of these you use generators for. For example, if you want to generate a recipe, you would use like a online application to generate recipes, which I can share with you guys after we're done. But it really makes it really easy to make recipes. For example, I made this amethyst potato by just combining amethyst blocks, baked potatoes. I even added a recipe for raw pure sulfur by adding raw sulfur to the blast furnace, as well as pure sulfur as well. I did the same thing with smelting it. I just said, oh, smelt, and give you an item, and it gives you the result. About sulfur potatoes. Why would someone eat a sulfur potato? And the same thing with sulfur blocks. So I want a raw sulfur block. It'll actually return 9, kind of similar to how raw blocks works in the game. For example, if you have raw iron, it's going to return 9 raw iron when you're done. Because you want to make your mod as close to Minecraft as possible, so it won't feel so jarring when you go into your mod. Unless you want to go for that. If you want your mod to be completely jarring, and there's guns, villagers have guns, and they shoot you on sight, go ahead. But if you want to be a little bit more Minecrafty, then do it like Minecraft and kind of go with their mechanics. And you can also make raw sulfur blocks, because it's basically just saying the pattern supposed to be made in. Also, mixings as well. Mix-ins are just, we're not going to get into those. Those are like way too difficult to get into. Like, that's if you want, like, to, let's for example mix in something like, let's make a creeper drop a music disc that we make. That's an example of a mix-in. We're mixing the code of Minecraft with our code. That's why it's called a mix-in. Of course, there's plenty of documentation on there out there as well. And this is one of the main parts of making a mod, is modifying your fabric JSON mod, where this is your entry point, which is cheems.tweaks.cheese, cheems tweaks. Our mixins are at cheems tweaks mixins.json. Of course, I put my name on here because I actually want to get credited for this. It's not shit posting, so I want to get credited for if this mod becomes popular, which I'm hoping it doesn't. Like, this is how we, like, credit ourselves. You can make the authors right here. If you want to have multiple authors, like, say, for example, I don't know, Kearney, you can do that because it's kind of JSON files, how JSON files works. If you want to have multiple items in your JSON, you can just add a comma. It's another way of adding multiple authors. But generally speaking, when you're in a JSON file, you don't want to capitalize anything because Java kind of has a hissy fit on it. It's like, oh, it's capitalized, I don't want to compile, basically. And of course, it's our entry point. We're saying main, saying cheems, tweaks, cheese, cheems, tweaks. So you see how there's files here, it says cheem, tweaks, cheese, and it goes straight to our JSON file right here. Our JSON file, our Java file. That's what basically it's saying. It's saying, well, this is where our main file is at. This is where our mixins is at. It's at Sheens Tweaks. It's a mixins.json. And that's where our JSON file is at for mixin. And also, if you want to go to our mixin, we have right here example mixin, which I got rid of the example mixin because I still have it, but I'm not going to use it for this mod. Plus, you have contact. Don't put your source stuff on my GitHub here, my YouTube channel here as well for my homepage. And plus, I made plus you can make a description. So, for example, I want to describe the mod. I'll be like, okay, this is a meme mod dedicated to Bernie. Something like that. I don't know. Make sure you save every time. So, if you're in Visual Studio Code, the shortcut to save is Control-S. So when you're working on a file, make sure you do Control-S, and if you have GitHub, it'll show you what you actually modified. So if you go here, it says, oh, you modified this file right here. So if you want to keep track of the mistakes you're making. But enough of that. Let's try compiling this and going directly to Minecraft. So what we're going to do to compile this is first decompile Minecraft. So we're going to do Gradle w gen sources. And it's going to unpack the jar of Minecraft. You're going to have to do this every time you want to enter Minecraft with your mod. You're going to have to do Gradle w generate sources. I'm going to leave a tutorial on how to get this set up because this is a pretty long setup. But I think I'm going to walk you through it, how to get your mod set up, and then getting the workspace set up. There's plenty of tutorials out there because Visual Studio Code has a lot of extensions you have to install. For example, let me show you some of the extensions I have to install, like Debugger for Java, Extension Pack, Gradle, Maven, Project Manager, and make sure you have IntelliCode. That's like the best version, the best thing in VS Code. It basically does all the work for you. And there you go. It got done in 31 seconds thanks to my new PC. So if you want to run this, I go to Minecraft client.run. It runs. It just starts compiling the game. If you look at our debug console, it's going to show what's going on here. And it runs Minecraft. Look at that. It runs pretty fast too. Let me go to our little mod world we made for our testing purposes. This is a whole new account, basically. It's saying, oh, we're making a new account just for testing your mod. So, for example, we heard a mod. We have our ore here, sulfur ore. We have a raw sulfur right here. And we have our 4 items: diamond glowberries, amethyst potatoes. So, if you want to see how it works, we just go into survival. It gives me extra hearts. It looks kind of cool. If I wanted to go mining, I can go use my amethyst potato. Go down here. Really cool stuff you can do with Minecraft modding. Plus, if you wanted to, for example, make raw sulfur into, make a block of sulfur into raw sulfur, you can. Like, this is the stuff you can do with Minecraft modding. It's pretty cool. It's not that much work for Minecraft modding. It's not like Doom where you have to know a little bit of C++. It's like, you get into this, and there's plenty of documentation out there for this. So if you want to get into this, you can. It's pretty easy. I would say it's better documentation than Bridges, that's for sure. Where you can understand the documentation pretty well. Like, I can go into the documentation right now if you guys want to. Yeah, it's not saying much. So if I wanted to, I can go into documentation. I can just go into, let me just go here. There you go. It's a pretty good documentation. It also has basics as well. Introduction to modding with Fabric. It gives you a lot of information you want to know. plus, let's say, for example, you want to add a armor. It gives you the code as well as in like bridges where it says, "Oh, good luck. Where's the code at?" kind of thing. It's very well documented. And plus, if you want to see things like, I don't know, saturation values on items, for example, you can just go to Minecraft Wiki. And just look for example, over here, apples. You can actually figure out the hunger value, just 4. Because of the data values as well. Also the history behind the item. You can also look at the Jsons as well if you want to, so you can just go to Jsons. So for example, let's go into Java Edition. I'm pretty sure it's a good JSON tutorial here. It's pretty well documented, so if you're stuck on something, can you scrape this wiki? Yeah, it's pretty bad wiki, I know. Not my fault though. So you might as well get started on our own example mod. Yeah, I do have my YouTube channel, but there's no modding work on there. It's just, you know, actually, it's a good idea. So yeah, I know what you mean, but it's a good idea. So let's just exit out of Minecraft. Let's exit our mod for a second and actually start working on a new mod. So let's go to here. Luckily, we already cloned it to our local directory. You can go here, go to our example mod, and there it is. So that's the reason why I would say use a template, because it basically does have to work for you. You don't have to worry about, you know, making all these folders and GitHub ignoring it. You just have to just make the copy, you know, work. So for example, I go here to, let's go to source. It sells the fabric stuff in there, has the example stuff. It still has the example stuff here too. So including the Gradle Properties. So right here it says, let's see some stuff here. Okay, so for example, if you wanted to change the version, you can go into Gradle Properties and change the Minecraft version. You can also change what build it is. And you can go to your mod properties and, for example, change the mod version. You can go here and change it to 1.1. Here's your Maven Group, which is very important. It's kind of example. It's kind of just showing us where it's at. Mod, so your example says com.example. I don't think I get to change that yet, but we'll get into that. But this is where most of the work's at, is mod ID version. So for example, let's just call this one Ernie. And mod ID, name the mod, Ernie demo. I can give it a description. There you go. Excellent description. Authors. I don't know. Let me just come up with an object for myself in here. And you can just set your own GitHub here. But since this is just example mod, it sets it to the example GitHub. So if you want to, just kind of just get rid of it. Plus, you can do licenses as well. For example, if mod runs off a certain license, like for example, if you want like people to, you know, distribute the mod, make it run during a certain license, you can do that. I don't really care, so I'm gonna set it to then over here is our icon, where our icon's stored at. So it's saying it's stored at assets mod ID. And this is where our icon's stored at. So since we changed the mod ID, we're gonna have to change this. So we're going to mod ID Kearney. We're going to rename it to Kearney. It's our mod ID. So it's now going to assets. Kearney. icon.jpg. And now for our main entry point, we're going to do something like, I don't know, bridges. I don't know. That's a good, because you don't want, the reason why you have a main directory is you don't want to conflict with other mods. So we're just going to name it something unique. Try to name it something unique. Like, for example, try doing, can't do numbers. So try doing something like, I don't know. Yeah, can you guys give me some good names here? There you go. And then for our mixins, we're going to do mod ID, which is Kearney. Mixins.json. Under Kearney. So here we can just name that to Kearney mixins.json. We're doing a lot of renaming because this is a template, so have you ever gotten bugs bad enough where you want to yeet your monitor while modding? Yes, Aaron remembers these. I know Aaron was with me when I modded for my first project, and I couldn't get a disk to work, and I was like, oh, I couldn't get this disk to work, and we were all like getting pissed off because it's like 3 in the morning. And most of the time, it's because of this specific JSON file. This thing will give you so much trouble, it's not even funny. This thing is literally very important. You're telling it where everything's at. If it doesn't find it, it's going to give you like a weird error saying, "Oh, this does not exist." Just telling you basically, just gives you the middle finger and says, "Oh, yeah, try finding that." You know, I don't know about that. Actually, Walker, I don't know about that. That's actually a good question. But I know Minecraft uses JSON, so I don't think you can use YAML files. So I don't know about that. Just don't write bugs. You want any problems? Just don't breathe. You want any problems? So now we got to rename our main entry point. So instead of what this is right now, which is Java, we're gonna have to rename it entirely. So get ready. Just seeing my reference right here, make sure I'm doing everything correctly so this compiles. This is very picky sometimes. So if you like mess up, so we're gonna rename this to. You're gonna love this name. Bridges dot CSI CSCI anti bridges. It's going to be called the best mod. The best mod. It's going to give us an error right now because it's just watch. It gives a small error right now. Pretty sure this is correct, right? Yeah, it is correct. We're going to have to change this to just save all current game. just a way to store data. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Java, but I'm still just modding the game, so still learning, man. Oh, right here, I gotta change that too. You're gonna love this because there's a lot of changing to do. Yeah, absolutely love this, guys. This is basically the majority of Minecraft modding. Just changing file names, hoping it works. Stop mixing. There you go. Yeah, make sure you have your Java 16 installed because it won't compile and it'll give you like an error like, oh, it's gonna basically say, oh, Java address not found or something like that. It's gonna just give you like, oh, he set the home path to Java 16. Every time she shows Lightning McQueen, that was just a meme. Yeah, I'll show you Lightning McQueen in action. I'll find Lightning McQueen. I'll make it go in action for you. So we just configured the mixing JSON, now the fabric JSON. Now we named the mod Kearney Demo. Descriptions Bridge is bad. We gave the icon a certain location where it's assets kearney.icon.png. And you have the main file being located at bridges, CSI, anti-bridges, the best mod. So that's done. As for Gradle Properties, we're going to have to set a Maven Group. And this is where it's going to get confusing. So our Maven Group is technically where our main mod is stored at. So for example, it'd be something like bridges.csi.anti-bridges. Yeah, very creative name. And the archive base name would be something like, I don't know, Kearney example. So we did our Gradle properties. We did our mod.json file. Now we gotta do the actual mod itself. So we're gonna make an item. I want you all to brainstorm. What should we add to Minecraft? Not a mob, but like an item. Just think. Like, what should we do? Like, come on with ideas. Knife. Because it's the part of modding where we get to be kind of creative. You know, sulfur potato sounds cool. You know, I'm gonna do the bridge block. Let's do bridge. Okay, does anyone have like a texture I can use for bridge block? I would love to do it. Hurdy-gurdy. I don't know what hurdy-gurdy is. Look. Let's do an Oreo McFlurry. Nike shoes. I'm trying to come up with a good idea here because it says bridges block. If you have a bridges block, what would it look like? So we're gonna open up a new file here. Let's do a sulfur potato. So I decompiled the Minecraft a while ago, and I have some actual stuff here. Let me go look. It should be in my mod assets folder. There you go. Let's see what we got here. There's my icon. Let's get the amethyst potato. Let's get some raw sulfur blocks here. Hold two right. Let's just make it look like a sulfur potato. Some go to our sulfur assets right here. Pure sulfur, there you go, it's a good asset. It's a really easy way to retexture things. You're interested in that. Get this. Start drawing with it. we should do the team for science. That's the second item we're adding. Go to here. Team ore and armor. It's gonna look like dog dookie. Yeah, it looks all right. Let me just add a little bit of blue. Blue sheen there. Blend. So you have a little that blue part that sulfur has. Okay, we're gonna save this as sulfur potato. I use snake case, just saying. .png. Actually, we're not going to save it as that. We're going to export it. Call this one Screaming Snake Case. Yeah, I like Screaming Snake Case too. It's more like data.png. And we're going to go here. We're going to go back to here. We're going to start configuring our mod here. So what we're going to do is we're going to declare the block right here. You're going to love this. Public static final. We're going to call this an item. It's not going to show up right away, so you're going to have to. I'm going to call this one. This time we can actually use Screaming Snake Case with this. Sulfur or data. We're going to make it equal to a new item. We're going to set the new item settings dot group. I'm going to say item group. Watch, I'm going to get a lot of errors right now, so get ready. Because we have to import so many libraries from Minecraft. Prepare. The only problem is Minecraft is not really consistent with. Oh yeah, I forgot. We gotta make a new Java file. Call this one Kearney Food. I'm gonna set to a .java. We're gonna just basically get package. I'm gonna go to bridges. .cs ci dot anti bridges. I think that's correct, because man, it's going to be a ton of errors right now. You're going to love this. And I'm going to go import net.minecraft.entity. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to call it public class. I'm going to call this Kearney food components. I wish I could type faster, because if I could, I would totally type faster for you guys. I'm just trying to get an example out. Final food. Take your time. Oh my god. For the hours almost up. I don't want to waste your guys' time. So I'm gonna get my code real quickly. I'm actually gonna get my code. I don't want to waste your guys' time. Pigs. C and Java. Gene. Pigs. Cheese. Open with register code. There you go. This to our yeah, we didn't get to play type chase. We didn't even play type racers. I'm still waiting for my extra credit from Kearney, so I'm gonna give him time, but I'll start complaining in a while. And we're gonna go here. We set our this. And we're gonna set the mod components here. I'm gonna go here. Basically copied some of our old code here. We can just kind of just ignore that. Just go public, final, static, food component. We're gonna name this sulfur potatoes. Sulfur potatoes is equal to new food components dot builder. And now for the fun part. Dot hunger. I'm gonna go do 2 dot saturation. Modifier. Give this, I don't know, it's really low. What's the aspect actually to give? Like, for example, like, would it give it poison? Would it give it, like, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. Jumping's a good one. Jump boost. Pretty sure it's actually stats effects. Dot boost. Here we can set that to 1,000. 1. There you go. You get a really high jump boost for 1,000 ticks. My first time using this on my new computer, so give me a sec. This might not work. Let's see. Always edible. What we're doing is giving the always edible tag, so you can always eat it if you want to. Build it. Build, and there you go. That's our food component. check if I got the right food component. It's underscore. There you go. It's always good to look at a reference while you're doing this. Nothing. Do. Yeah, we can do night vision too if you want to. But this is just an example, and we're already over the time limit. You gotta hurry up, get this done. So we have our food mod. We have our food here. We have our food component. Now we gotta go back to here. Go here. Go cheese. Actually, Kearney. Kearney food component. We'll just take. Just rename this to Kearney. I didn't know it was a time limit, but he told me I have an hour, so I'm just gonna like say I'm over the time limit so I can hurry up. I take my time while coding because I'm kind of a slowpoke. Let's just call our class again, and we're gonna say get the sulfur for potato class. And yep, it would end off with semicolons at the end because like every other programming language in existence, we're going to end with semicolons because that's how it's done. So we declared our food item, and we declared it. Now we got to go register it. I use this register method right here, so I'm going to just type it out for you guys. This is kind of what I use. I made a little class here. I said public static void, because we're doing a return type of void. Register item. Go here, we go string item name item. He told me, the thing is, he told me there's an hour, so I was like, okay, I have to get done in an hour.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes left.
Ooh,
Do you need more time?
Can I get like 15?
I can give you half an hour. How does that sound?
I'll be done in 15 though.
Okay, sounds good.
All I gotta do is compile the mod, check if it works.
Gotcha. Alright, go for it.
I'm just trying to give an example so people can be locked when they're doing their mod. I'm at 4. Yeah, it's a lot of function chaining, so get ready.
Java.
A lot of it. Just get ready. Mod ID. Oh yeah, I also declared the mod ID up here in its own little class. So, something else we should do. Public static final string mod ID equal to whatever our mod ID was. I think the Kearney. What mod ID? Yeah, it was. Saying new identifier.modID, their item name, so the name item. We do the declare thing, declare, and there we go. So that's our function we're using. It's just a quick way to declare items. So what we're going to do is just declare item right here. We're going to say register item. Because if you wanted to do it the other way, we would just like have a big function string. So I just made it to like condensing it into one item string. Wouldn't be too bad. Just say my name's item sulfur potato. give it the item sulfur potato. There you go. We declared our item. It's in the registry now. Okay, so we declared our item. It's in the registry now. What's next? We're going to do textures. So we're going to get our textures here. We're going to make a new folder inside assets. Actually, we're going to make a new folder inside resources. Inside assets or resources? Actually, it's inside assets, so I can do that. You can call this textures. That's the file. Mistake. Assets folder. Textures. And we're going to add our excellent texture that we made. Yeah, it does. It's Minecraft source code is absolutely insane. I would recommend looking at it one of these days. It's just, it's a bit too much. There you go. There's a soft potato. Now we're gonna go here. We're gonna go to. Should probably set this. We should probably give it into an item texture. Let's go item. There you go. Better. We'll clean it that way. Now for next part. Check my reference here. Oh, models. I'm doing models. We go to assets. Under resources, assets. Pictures. Textures. There you go. I'll add a new thing to this. We're going to call it models. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff, so I'm sorry. If any of you have plans, I'm sorry. Call this sulfur potato.json. I had plans to see this potato. Yes, you do. You have plans. You had plans to see this potato in action. I'll say parent. So once you get the workflow working, you can just like whip out items like nothing. If you're like me, I have a mod fully set up, you're gonna like literally whip out items like nothing. So you can just copy and paste a JSON instead of just starting with a whole new JSON like I'm doing. Yeah, it's a lot of work. This is actually similar to Forge code. So if you want to use Forge, this code is similar. Doesn't mean it will run on Forge, but just saying. It's basically very similar, so if you wanted to, we're going to go do our mod ID, our item, and then name our item, which is then we got our models. We have models, item. Now let's just check. Do you think we need a block state for this? We don't need a block state. We just need a language file. New file. Default language. You know, actually, I want to compile without a language, but if I show you without a language, it would just look really weird. It would look really weird without a language JSON. So I'm going to put en us. That's how language files are worked in Minecraft. JSON. I'm going to call this here. We're going to go here. To put JSON, we're going to say item. Item dot kearney dot Potato. Is equal to sulfur potato. Fun fact, they actually capitalize every first letter in Minecraft, so every time you see an item, it has the first, every letter is capitalized from the beginning. No, what you call it. Every word has the first letter capitalized. So if you want to make your mod look Minecrafty, an easy way of doing that. So we have the language, and we have all this other stuff. Yeah, I know Java's camel cased. It's just Minecraft's code doesn't like camel case, so I just say use snake case. And screen snake case, me too. Okay, so let's just try compiling this. Let's just save all. I'm gonna just give this a shot. Let me just generate sources quickly. Gradle gen sources. Let's give about 30 seconds. It'll be done. My processor is super fast. It's a whole new Ryzen processor. I can already hear my I/O fans going out, man. All 8 cores are working on decompiling this. Oh my god, it can't hold. It's exploding. No, it's not. It's actually just getting a little bit hotter. And there you go. 31 seconds. Yeah, AMD is POG. So the game's compiled. One of truth. Let's just do. There you go. Now we'll run the Minecraft client. There's probably going to be a ton of bugs. Well, let's get ready. Let's hop into this. Oh look, a build failed. That was quick. T. Cannot load main class. Yep, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun, I swear. Package, just checking if everything works. Okay, mixins.json. Problems. To provide. No. Let me go check my Gradle properties. Oh. I know why. Minecraft modding, guys. Fun. Here. Guys, again. Fix. Complete. Gosh, that should be better. That should work. That should work. Go to actually run. Hold. Oh crap. There you go. This is why. Because this is what happens. Let's go here. This is what happens when you go. this is the debugging process. This is the most important process. So, code components, builder. Oh, I know why. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Stop this. There you go. Saturation modifier. Because I misspelled saturation. Great. I forgot the I. Stats effects. There you go. First bug done. Know why? Back to our best mod. We're not creating clean string class. Oh my god. Debugging, my favorite. Oh, I know why. Forgot semicolon 2. Cannot be resolved to a type. Brief quick fix. Minecraft.item. Minecraft.item. This is why I'm telling you debugging is super important, and this is why I use the quick fix stuff. Yep. Telling you the truth, this is what coding's all about. Where the fun's all at, guys. It's right here. Yeah, this is why I love other languages. I love C++, but C++ has speed and all that, fun, but it isn't worth it. Not really worth it. All the pain is not worth it. I don't know why people say, oh, it's the best language. It's like, yeah, all the pain C++ causes. It's like, man, do I really want to go through all that pain just for, you know, show a little bit of self-satisfaction.
So it's 5:15. How you doing?
We're almost done.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I apologize.
I'll go grab my daughter right now then.
Okay.
So it'll be another 5 or 10 minutes till I get back.
Okay. This is fun. 5-10 minutes. We got 5-10 minutes. So this mod cannot be resolved. I'm pretty sure we have a mod. It's called Best Mod. I'm pretty sure it works. I'm pretty sure it's here. So this is where most of the debugging process is. So just saying. This is where all the debugging goes, man. This is where all the debugging is, man. This is where it's all at. This is where it's all at. There you go. Probably change that back. There you go. That's all the errors we got. Now to save all and run Minecraft client. Oh, it's working. Yep, it's working. Holy boy. Oh my gosh, there you go. We just made a mod in 15 minutes. Name this. Bridges. Suck. Oh shit, I made a survival world. I made a survival world. Oh god, no. That's how I made a survival world. I made a survival world, god damn it. There you go. We have our mod. Let's see what this is where this is the biggest bugs are at. This is why I would say start your mod project early, because you're gonna gun and run into bugs. It's not an if you're gonna run into bugs. It's gonna be a when you're gonna run into bugs kind of thing. I'm the sulfur potato. Oh, here comes the fun bug. It compiles, but at what cost? What costs? Check. Yeah, it should be registered. Check. Come on, it should be under, let's see what it's under, food group, item group, food. No, it's not here. Great. Let's see what's wrong. This is the fun bug. This is the it compiles, but doesn't want to show up kind of bug. This is the bug that is so blessed. It's so blessed. No, it's not spawn rate. It's actually something to do with the fabric mod JSON. It's the good old fashioned it compiles, but where's my item? Can I check my JSON? Oh, I don't know why. Let's name it to our mod ID. What we usually do. Name this to Kearney. Yeah, sure, just make the changes. That should work. Would imagine it'd probably be something like, oh, you misspelled something. Probably is. By the way, the bugs can be as simple as you misspelled something to, yeah, where's my item? Where's my item? So you're gonna love this. I've seen this before. Ain't from Michigan, you've never seen this before. You ain't from Michigan if you've never seen this before. Do you import it? No, we don't import it. Oh, which means okay, now it should work. Yeah, that's just a name. So, for example, it says decory. It's saying, oh, this is what we're declaring. Sulfur potato. It's under the sulfur potato name. Pretty sure it's all correct. Just check my items. Yeah. Should work. So yeah, should work. Now let me just save all. Put in the Minecraft client one more time. It should work. And I will export the mod as soon as we're done. AMD, man. Literally. Make sure you look at this. See this right here. Cannot polish. Failed authentication, that's normal. Okay. Go to single player. Gonna load fast because my 64 gigabytes of RAM. Be under food items. Just spawn it. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it works. It works, guys. We did it. We did it. Did it, guys. Oh, Jesus Christ. Actually didn't know how to load. Let's see why. Oh, I know why. Yeah, let's try reloading this. Where's my potato? Oh, I know where my potato's at. It's fucking gone. Oh my god. Just constantly checking my laptop like, oh, yeah, why isn't that showing up? Oh, you know why. Okay. I think this'll work now. This'll work now. Go here, kearney.json. Now to recompile the game for the 5th time. I recommend you guys go into Minecraft modding. It is fun. This is the stuff I like doing. Because I like creating things personally. And I'm going to end off with the quick little presentation if we get this done so I can compile the code and just release the the jar file to you guys. Or if you guys want to, you can just like clone my repo for, yeah, look. Look. Look at that. I misspelled Kearney. It'd be hilarious if I misspelled Kearney. Pretty sure our main ID is Kearney. So here, our mod ID is Kearney. And we're just doing some debugging. Ignoring the textures. Trying to find the issue. There you go. Fantastic. Truly fantastic. I'm just trying to figure this out. Yeah, this is an example of a bug that you're going to love. This bug loves you back, by the way. So I'm going to wrap up the talk right now. So I'm going to release the mod in a second. Let me just check if this is... Check this. This should definitely be working. I don't know why it doesn't work at all. I am very sure this should be working. My language.json for other mod shouldn't be overlapping. Oh, I know why. Dumb errors will always kill you. Yeah, this is where syntax is so important. Yeah, if this works, I'm releasing the mod. I'm Become a Millionaire. You can all donate to my Patreon. But before we wrap up, I want to go over one more slide with you guys. If you guys have any questions, I would ask them now, because I'm going to end off the presentation. So how about you guys, what's the mod you guys can come up with? Just like type them down. Because that's what we're basically doing. Because Minecraft is a game where you build with your creativity. And what we're doing right here is adding on to this game and making new items. Like, what's the example of an item you would make in Minecraft, you know? Something that you would want, you know? Yeah, sporks. Yeah, sporks should definitely be there. And look, look. Guess what? It has the JSON file now. It's actually named correctly. The text doesn't want to show up, but it works. A compass that actually points north. Good idea. Actually, great idea. I'll give him that. That's a great idea. great idea. I would totally say it's a great idea, by the way. I'm going to go just get the last of this. So we're going to end off the presentation here. I'm going to release the mod right now. I'm going to go drop it into this area. Let me go get the presentation for you guys. Yep. So if you guys want to learn a little bit more about how to get this set up, and you want this to be set up on your PC, I'll give you a great bunch of videos you can use. Let me drop it in here. You can't drop it in here. I'll drop it in resources. No, I can't drop it in resources. I'll drop it in general. I'll drop the presentation in general. There you go. Let's see how it looks. See how it looks. There you go. The entire presentation. So, any last minute questions before I leave? Or, if you guys need help on your modding project for I-50, I am more than happy to help out. I work at the Math Center in Reedley, so you can go in there if you want to, during my hours. Or if you want to get help afterwards, I'm more than happy to just volunteer help around the server. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the help channel. I'll be there. So hopefully Kearney comes back soon, because we got to end the stream. You're a great audience. I tried my hardest. Thank you all for being so nice to me. This is my first time presenting. So, yeah. Yeah, let me drop the video. Let me drop the video, though. I have to drop the video. Let me just drop the video to help you learn some more about Minecraft modding. The guy who I'm dropping the video from makes an excellent tutorial. His channel name is Suited Llama. He's really underrated. He only has 25,000 subscribers. I would totally watch. I'm gonna drop it in the help center actually. There you go. This is the guy where I learned modding from. He has an excellent tutorial, and plus he does other stuff too. He also does blocks, which we didn't get into, but blocks are very similar to items. As well as, and we also did food items, which is much more advanced. He has an excellent tutorial on. So I just dropped a bunch of videos made by him. He's an excellent YouTuber. Don't follow his Twitter. That's about it. Thank you all for being so nice to me. It's my first time presenting. Hopefully this won't be the last. Let's go wait for Kearney to get back. So if you have any questions, I'll answer them right now. What language to learn after suffering with C++? I recommend Python as a quick little refresher. I totally recommend Python. And you know what? You know who's teaching Python? Reedley is teaching Python under the CS program, and I'm actually going to be the tutor for it next semester. So if you want to do an online class, 100% online, have me as your tutor, then I would totally recommend Python. Even though JavaScript's cool too. If you want to go in web development, do JavaScript. I think what I learned after C++ was Python, and I eventually learned JavaScript, and I'm currently learning HTML. Yeah, web dev is, people give a lot of crap to web dev, but man, it is difficult sometimes, because full stack development is pretty... Yeah, if you don't like HTML, I wouldn't recommend going to Java, because you have to use HTML to make, DOM manipulation. Yeah, I think everyone learns HTML as their first language. It's kind of like baby's first language. Just kind of curious, why is this not working? Trying to figure out why no work. This work. I'm just waiting for Crane to end the stream. We just. Yeah, React does make HTML. C++ is good. I don't know why people shit on it. I don't like it because it's simple and it doesn't really have that many libraries to it. Like C++ has a lot of libraries. It's just that they're all like so hard to install. Like if you ever wanted to install a library like Boost to like Visual Studio, good luck. I couldn't get done. I would imagine nobody can get done without like some sort of help. Yeah, I know. I'm going to take 45 in next semester. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun.